I mean, during the bad times, there were people that said, because like I say, I did wonder. Like I say, as soon as we launched the Apollo 1 or something like that, as soon as it launched, like JFK or Nixon or the USAF people, they burst into the control room at the launch pad and they just started shooting. Like with no warning, they just walked in and just started killing everybody at the launch pad to the Apollo 1 project or Apollo 2 project. As soon as they saw that the rocket launched, because I had paid for the rocket, I had paid for everything. As soon as that rocket launched and was away or up at the handoff, as soon as they hung up that phone, they walked in and just started shooting the USAF people. They killed everybody in that room. So for years afterwards, I would wonder, if I hadn't built that rocket, would they still be alive? If that rocket cost me a lot of money, like almost a couple billion trillion dollars, but we all wanted to build it. We all wanted to make history and stuff, and I didn't think that some crazy guy would do that. I don't even know why they would. But I would wonder for years afterwards, if I hadn't built that rocket, would they still be alive? That's why it was painted white and everything else like that, and that's why the launch pad, and that's why they filmed it too. I was the only one who cared about the film. We were making history. And since it was the first of its kind, or the first or the biggest launch yet, I wanted it to be filmed so we could show it to people later on. It's posterity, and anyway, no one really understands, what it's like to really be epic and like to make all these decisions at the time, and then later on, months in or years in, they were trying to sell the paint. Instead of painting the rocket, they were going to sell the paint. They had stolen one of the truckloads, and they just ordered more paint, of course, because I owned DuPont. I owned the paint manufacturer, so I was just going to pay what it cost to make it. So anyway, so that's why it was going to be white, and like Nixon, they were going to kill everyone there anyway, and maybe even crash the astronauts. Like, they didn't care about the rocket. They didn't care about anything. They just care about how much they wanted to steal the money in or something, or so they killed everyone in the mission control room or the launch control room. Everyone in the launch control room died. They hit that one base, and that was another thing. When those people, because they couldn't get through on the phone or something, but word got out or something, and it got to one. There's 3 control rooms, so word got out because I think there was an open mic to one of the other control rooms. So word got out a little bit that everyone in the other room was dead, or something like that. I forget. Like I say, they covered up and considered national security. I don't know how that's national security. Yeah, whatever. So, me pushing the limits right then there killed all those people. And they all died because the missile launched. If I hadn't built the missile, if I hadn't launched the missile, they would have never died. Probably. Some people said, "Oh no, it just would have been somebody else in a different time or something." It just happened to be the excuse of the day, I guess. That they, anyway. So anyway, they're just waiting for me to prove the technology. But that's what happened. So anyway, I was the one who requested the slow motion camera. I was the one with the with the best slow motion cameras. Like, there's a lot of launch control people that couldn't wait to get down there to get that camera film to see what it looked like, because no one had ever filmed. I don't know if that was the first one, but no one had ever really done a slow motion camera and a lens and everything. I was the one who thought of it. So it's a high speed camera though, so it's not actually a slow motion. It's a high speed camera Makes it look slow motion. So anyway, and we spend a lot of money to get this film. And that's another thing is when you're moving film that fast, it tends to fracture. So we had to change the film type and everything, and more money and more time. But we were all happy. They were all happy to do it. So anyway, but yeah. Anyway, it was history. We made history. So yeah, and JFK had nothing to do with any of it. They barely even knew it even happened. Like I said, JFK and Nixon, they didn't even know it happened, or they kind of knew it happened. But I mean, I think they found the film actually. I think it had happened like 20 years or 40 years before them, or something like that. Like I said, when Nixon and them were reporting the launch, people went out and said, "Where's this launch? We don't see any contrails. We don't see any evidence of a launch." And they checked, and there was no launch when Nixon was saying that was happening live, and we're gonna switch over to mission control 82nd now, and like realistically, it was just a radio program. There was no launch. The missile had already launched a long time ago. They didn't have the money for the missile, or the launch, or that much. I had done that like 20 years, and people had said, "Well, there was, remember that old one we did that happened a long time ago." Anyway, so it's something like that. Anyway, so people were a little confused. I mean, it's more like a lie to the future.